Hello again, fellow crafters, it's LED, and apparently talking about JoAnn's going out of business is the best video I've ever made, because for some reason that got a lot of traction. So I'm gonna do what the algorithm is indicating, and I'm gonna go back into JoAnn. Today's February 20th, which means that we are at the 7-day mark for liquidation sales, at least as far as my local JoAnn goes. And with everybody saying in the comments of the last video that mileage was varying as far as being able to use their gift cards, I got a little nervous, did not want to waste $23, and so I am going back in. I've heard that there are some other things that I may have missed, and also some of you mentioned that the clearance items were supposed to be marked down 60% off of their clearance price. That did not happen when I went last time, but I think that's probably because the system was so new that the employees were still getting used to things, so please don't be mad on my behalf. Like, I only spent money that I had to spend on these things. I am gonna be totally fine. I'm actually already using some of the things that I bought. If YouTube for some reason sent you to this video before the last one, I don't know why, but there's a lot of other information. I'm just gonna put a little thing over there and kind of link to that so you can check out what I got the first time around. And yeah, so I'm not sure what else is good. I'm going to mainly focus on fabric this time because I just ran out of the black swimwear lining that I prefer to use for like most of my wrestling gear projects. I'm making a friend of mine a singlet, and it's a bit hush hush right now, but I will probably post some stuff about that build, that make, whatever people say these days when they're crafting like artisanal, bespoke performance wear. Anyway, I'm working on that. I'm actually using one of the fabrics I got at JoAnn's seasonally a couple years ago as the base of that, and I just ran out of my black swimwear lining, so hoping to find that. Sometimes it's sold out, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's already gone. But we're gonna look, we're gonna see. And worst case scenario, if they're down to the last bit of the black, or if they're down to the last bit of the light nude, as I like to call it, it's really like a beigey cream. It's darker than me, but lighter than most of my clients. Or the white. The white, I don't know how it takes dye. I've been wanting to experiment with dyeing the white swimwear lining, just in case I can do some better like skin tone matching or get it to match the outer fabric better. So that's an option too. But other than that, I'm pretty much not going to consider buying anything that isn't 40% off or less, because I think that's really the sweet spot. So we'll go in, we'll take a look around, we'll see what we can find. Also, I heard that they're trotting out like all of the random leftovers from previous holidays. So with Valentine's Day past us, that would be Valentine's, New Year's, Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and I don't know, maybe 4th of July too, St. Patrick's Day. I don't know, because St. Patrick's Day is forward looking, and Easter, I don't know if those holidays would also be discounted or if they would have like a different classification because they're kind of upcoming. But anyway, I'm pretty sure like 4th of July on could be considered. So if they have stuff like that, I might get in on that too, because I love witchy things too, and I would really love to get some like black cat purple or orange fabric, or like some of the stuff that glows in the dark that they make, or just like some fall florals I really like. We'll see what they've got, and I'm trying to keep myself on budget. I'm not going to spend over $100 this time. I'm going to be looking at this very carefully because I don't want to spend too much money. I don't want to overinvest right now, but if there's anything that really seems like a really good deal, I will probably jump on it, and then I'll have to explain it to my spouse later. Okay, I'm gonna go in. Wish me luck. This first view is pretty much exactly the same as it was for the last video, but the further into the store that we get, the more things start to look a little bit different. For one thing, Valentine's Day has been replaced with Easter. There was Easter stuff before, obviously, but not so forward within the store. Now that Valentine's has passed more fully, we're looking forward to Easter and St. Patty's. That stuff's been moved closer to the entrance. Now, the costuming stuff is definitely not on deeper sale, so I headed straight to the dancewear / activewear to try and find my swimwear lining. This 4-way strap
stretch black was so nice, but definitely too thick to be used as lining. The 4-way stretch Mystique spandex is pretty much my favorite thing to sew with, whether I'm making something for myself or for a client, and there were a lot of really nice options still left in stock. Nothing really stood out to me as a must buy at only 20% off at this point. I'm not super worried about them being sold out, so I'm going to leave them here until the 20% discount has turned into 40% or more, I think. So I just spent some time going through all of these options. I did manage to find the nude and white swimwear linings, but there was plenty of each of them, so I'm going to hold off since the black is not available. Okay, so here's where things get interesting. If you're one of those people that does a lot of crafting seasonally out of cotton to make things like decor or gifts for people, if you make a lot of seasonal stuff out of cotton, you gotta go check out the seasonal cotton prints, because that is all 40% off. This is every holiday you can think of, any seasonality that JoAnn usually has. Christmas, 4th of July, indeed, there was a fall decor section and some Halloween. All of this stuff was really beautiful. This is all just printed cotton, and while some of this is definitely tied to a specific holiday, like it's got carved pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns or Santa, a lot of this is just general seasonal and can be used year-round. But here is where most of my money was spent on this trip. This is the 60% off last chance fabrics, and here you'll find a lot of general cool things, including some branded items, stuff that is from various intellectual property. You see the Who here, we got a Baby Yoda right here, and there was some Parks and Recreation, The Office, all sorts of stuff in this section. For me, if I know it's popular with kids, or if it's some sort of show or movie that I like personally, I'll probably get some. Just a few feet down though, and it's back to 20%, so make sure you're looking for the sticker on the bolt itself. So last night was an adventure. I fully blame / applaud the staff there for being such great enablers, because I bought a lot of stuff. So I think the best way to go over what ended up drawing my eye beyond what I've just narrated for you is by going over what I actually purchased. And as you can see, it's a lot of stuff. It says sold item count 21.411. I don't know where that 411 came from. If it's 21 things, that makes sense to me. Maybe the .411 has something to do with like fractions of yards, maybe? But anyway, 21 things, essentially. And the total price, before I get into everything else, was $67.17. So I went in with the intention of not spending $100. That was my absolute maximum. And I made out like a bandit. So the first thing I did was I went straight to the Remnants, because sometimes some of the lovely spandex things that I turn into singlets, such as the one I'm modeling right now, sometimes I get this stuff from the Remnant bins, like this shiny black. That's one of the staples they tend to have. I'm pretty sure this green came from the Remnant bin. There's certainly a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I get a lot of my spandex there. So I did go to the Remnants. I also always look for cotton remnants. It's my preferred thing to make my cotton crafts out of, because it feels more sustainable to me, and it's also significantly cheaper. They didn't have a ton of remnants, which is of surprise to me. First thing you see when you walk into the door is that 1 yard minimum fabric cut message, and it's all over the fabric areas. There is no mistaking it. You are not going to get to the cut table and be able to say that you did not see this warning. Like, they are telling you you have to buy a yard or more. All the stuff I actually had to have cut is a yard or more, or it was like whatever was left on the bolt. So those last chance fabrics that were 60% off were absolutely the best deal, and I was just amazed. It's honestly a miracle I didn't walk away with more fabric, but I was trying to keep my marriage from falling apart, so I had to have some limits in mind.
and I will be cycling out a lot of the fabrics that are no longer inspiring to me. I'll probably end up putting them on Etsy or selling them at craft fairs, so if you check out my links in description for all the places where I sell my crafts, or if you come see me in person, since I know some of you clocked exactly which JoAnn's it is, you can come find me at the Richmond Farmers Market most weekends, and you can buy the things I make then. Anyway, okay, enough self-promotion. Let's talk about what's actually in here. Okay, so to keep things simplified, I will start with the remnants first. I got a couple of these 100% cotton canvas cuts because I love a good cotton canvas. It's one of the things I like to make bags out of. If you just make simple tote bags, this is a fun way to kind of make them more interesting than the average tote bag, especially the print-on-demand ones that so many people sell at craft fairs and farmers markets these days. Don't give in, don't let their prices fool you, get real tote bag material. So that's what this is. This one's butterfly themed. Can't tell if you can tell. There's like a little bee on there too. People love the bees. It's the Bay Area. And then this like mandala looking, really hyper colorful, trippy, kind of vintage looking one. Those are great. I did pick up approximately 4 yards of the black performance spandex that I saw in the clearance bin. This stuff, if I can't end up getting any of the black swimwear lining, will work in a pinch when the color is more important than the feeling and functionality and weight of the fabric. Anyway, I can still definitely use this. And whenever there's somebody who's like, I just want black tights with my name on the butt, I'll be like, okay, cheapo, here's what I recommend we make that out of. By the way, I have bought extra storage to try and handle all of the volume of stuff that I've been getting. This 3-pack of 45-quart bins came from my local Costco. It was $18. That was the normal price. And we are still not at the point where it makes sense to actually buy storage stuff at JoAnn's when they're liquidating. It's only 20% off. It's cheaper if you get it online. Like, I'm pretty sure Amazon, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you've got, there will be storage solutions that you can buy as well. So actually, let's keep these nice and put them in the bin. A word of warning, by the way, is that they are completely out of the one-use shopping bags. As far as I know, this is going to be an issue any shop that you go to. They did haul out like every single tote bag, reusable bag type thing, and line the register line with them so that you can purchase one of the reusable ones while you're there. But if you're at all like me, you've already bought like 5 of those from JoAnn over time, and you've got other stuff that you like. Personally, I brought this giant zippering one from the Pokemon Center just because I knew it would hold everything. Definitely plan on bringing your own way to haul things away, because if you're like some of the folks I saw online with me, they had these big carts piled high with things, and then they got to the front of the line, asked for a bag, and were told to buy one from the tote selection, and they got pissed. Don't be unprepared. That's the whole point of these videos. We're prepared. We're gonna go. It's gonna be fine. Okay, I did get 2 cotton remnants. These are the same fabric. They've got little dragons on them. Sometimes when they've got yardage that's like over a yard enough that it doesn't necessarily make sense to be a remnant, but they want to treat it like a remnant and get it off the shelf, they'll cut it in half. So this is 2 0.75 3/4 yard pieces of the same purple galaxy dragon print, and I've bought this from the remnant section before, and I've sold out of everything I've ever made out of it, even like the little buttons and stuff that I make of my button maker with the tiny scraps. So definitely had to pick up more of these. So remnants were still 50% off. I also just realized that I had asked to have some cutting blades moved to the front for me, and I forgot to ask for them. So I didn't actually buy them. Well, I was gonna say that I bought more rotary cutter blades, and that explains why the price is as good as it is, because I thought I was gonna be right under $100, so I'm forgetting to buy 4 rotary blades would do that. Anyway, okay, mystery solved. It looks like the remnants is
only showing the black performance nylon. I don't know if that means that the other ones were not scanned or if they've all been grouped up into this one line that I'm seeing. I'm seeing the nylon remnant on its own line, and then I see a line that says 20% off GOB, 50% off remnants, $10, and then 50% off remnant, $8.80. So it could be that they somehow got lumped together. Either way, I got some remnants and that covers them. Not a ton of money spent there. Most of the money was spent on by the yard cuts that I got of stuff that was either on clearance in the case of at least one of these, and otherwise part of the 40% off of seasonal stuff or 60% off of last chance fabrics. This is, I don't know, like just over a yard of this little bourbon print cotton. I'm not the biggest drinker, but I do enjoy a bourbon. So that was, I think, one of the first things. Super duper cheap. That was a clearance one. This is probably my favorite clearance item, and this was over 2 yards. When they scanned it at the cut counter, the employee working there, like her eyes went really wide. And I was like, everything okay? And she was like, you're doing really good today. I can just tell you're gonna do really good. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Turns out that this plaid was, first of all, broken into 2 pieces because I was getting the end of the roll. So up to 1 yard of the end of the roll is considered a remnant, and you get that at 50% off. So this was a total of almost 3 yards. And it was $4 for all of this. All of this was $4. It says that the remnant yard was 79 cents and the 1.92 yards was $3.04. And is this not just like the cutest queer flagging, like architect, artsy art? Like I just see a queer art teacher wearing a whole jumpsuit made out of this. If they're very small, I can make it for them. But otherwise, I think this is just gonna be like great on bags. I might actually make it into a skirt since I have so much of it. This is the sort of thing I would totally wear and keep myself. I've been looking for some fabrics that I thought would make good, just like kind of retro style cupcake skirts with pockets. It's very, very good potential right there. So that was like the very, very cheapest, I think, based on what I'm seeing. But we'll see. Okay, the second one, since they're all in order and then also stacked up in this order, I'm just gonna go through them. This is Timeless Treasures Painted Packed Floral. This was another one where I got the last bit of the bolt up to a yard as remnant. And this was 1.5 yards. The single yard was $1.59, and that last half yard was 40 cents. I have so many fabrics that I spent so much more money on that I like this so much more. This is all of my favorite colors, by the way. It's giving like bisexual awakening. I just love it. It's so pretty. It's like effortlessly feminine. I'm gonna make a whole bunch of great stuff out of it. And this is why I needed to make a follow-up video because, well, first of all, you guys, I don't know what kind of viral magic was in my thumbnail and clickbait title. Like, okay, I made that so that you would want to click on it. For real though, this is the most successful my little channel's ever been, so we're gonna keep going. But this is like actually the best deals. This is the stuff I wish I had included in my first video because I think this is better news and like more interesting than what I had in my last video. This one is one of the 40% off seasonals. This was considered a fall fabric. I know I scanned across it in the earlier view. I am an Apple fan. I've been compared to Snow White most of my life because I'm pale, and I just thought this was the
cutest, just like simplest thing. I love a good fruit fabric. I make a lot of stuff out of fruit fabrics. They do really well at the farmer's market where I exhibit almost every week, so that all makes sense. And these just look so lovely and juicy. This one was more expensive. It was only 40% off. I say only like it's not that big of a deal, but it's still a really great price. It was $10 a yard originally, so $6 a yard for the first yard, and the second yard, which is considered a remnant, was $3. Yeah, less than $10 for 2 yards of this feels like a great deal to me. This is right in line with the kind of prices I was paying when they do their 75% off Remnants sales, but this is like a nice long contiguous piece, and this was the end of the bolt. I did also specifically check the last chance, like clearance, back of the store bolt pile for some knits, because it's something that I make a lot of stuff for other people, like my niece and nephew get a lot of things made for me in soft knits, and a lot of my daily wear that I like try to wear to work and stuff. I'm slowly phasing in more and more things that I made myself or upcycled. It's great to have a knit so that you can embellish t-shirts and stuff. But anyway, so this knit has little bunnies and birds on it, and they're like lost in the forest, and it's so cute. It's really, really soft. I think it's a double brush poly. This one is called White Spring Forest Microfiber, whatever that means. There's 2 yards of it. This was $3, and I'm gonna make something incredible out of it. I just know it. I'm thinking maybe like a tunic kind of top, maybe? Tunic top? Ooh, you know what this would be really cute as, actually? Like a casual romper playsuit kind of thing. Like tank top and shorts that I can just chill out on somebody's porch in the middle of summer. That's the vibe I get here. Anyway, $3, fabulous deal. Those of you who are teachers or know and sew for teachers are gonna flip over this one. This one screams art teacher to me. This one is actually called Oat Heather School Icon Cotton. And once again, the first yard was $3, the second yard was $1. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, this was 60% off. It's super nice. Maybe I got 3 yards? Is that what I'm seeing here, actually? Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, this is actually 1.5 yards. That explains it. So yeah, great price. Absolutely adorable. And thank you to the JoAnn employee who gave me the last yard as a remnant instead of the last half yard when they could have just done the last half yard. You're a real one. Friendly reminder, because I feel like this was not echoed properly in my first video and it got all over the comment section of that first one. Be nice to the employees there. Our feelings are definitely going through the ringer on this, but the employees must be having such a worse time. So please be kind to them. There was a JoAnn Fabrics behind the scenes Reddit that was linked that I've updated down below. Read some of the horror stories from employees over there. People saying like, if you're gonna shoplift, please don't make a mess while you're doing it. We'd rather you take the whole bag of beads instead of opening the bag of beads and scattering them on the floor to get 3 that you wanted. Like, if you're gonna steal from us, just do it. That's the level of bleak we're talking about here. People going to the bathroom as often as they can to cry, belligerent customers who are just awful, and like the emotional labor of getting us, the customers, through this is way too, like, they are not getting paid enough for that. So let's just try to be super nice to them and make their jobs as good as possible. I don't know what the company policy about like tipping would be, but I would totally tip people at the cut table if you are standing in line a while and then they give you good customer service and help you cut a very large pile of fabric. The next of which is, this one's called Paradise Pals. It's printed cotton. I got 3 2/3 of a yard of this, apparently. But this is one of the ones that like the employee scanned and just like started cackling style, you know, we had a good cackle together. A couple of the employees and I, just like the greatest people to hang out with at 7 p.m. on a weekday during a liquidation sale. She scanned this and she was like, you're gonna want the whole bolt. And now I see why, because the 2.6 yards, once again giving me the biggest discount on a full yard instead of the partial yard. I love you. 2.66 yards, $3.17. Last single yard, remnant, 59 cents. And look at how precious this is. Oh my gosh, anybody who's really into birds would love this. I just love the colors. I mean, wouldn't this be a great, like, tailored shirt for you? I have certainly enough of this that if you wanted, I could try to tailor you a shirt out of this. I don't know. It's pretty sturdy cotton though, so I might need to soften it up a bit with a pre-wash and see how it does. That could be a shirt. All of these, like a lot of these could be shirts, hon. It totally makes sense to have these be things that I try to sell, given how cheap they were and how efficient that is for like making profit, quote unquote. But they're the kind of things that I never would have bought full price because I wouldn't have wanted to pay like $13 a yard for it. It wasn't that special to me. But at $5 a yard, it's super special, you know? The last three that I got are actually definitely like very much going to be sold because they all belong to the Star Wars fandom, which I'm not super into. But everything I've ever made with Star Wars stuff on it is like out the door. It's gone already. It's a big one for other vendors if you do trades at these like craft fairs and stuff. Trading between vendors is a really big thing, at least in my community. And there are a bunch of other crafters who are moms and aunties and grandmas, and they are always going to go for something that I've made with Baby Yoda. In fact, it's to the point that when I saw this and a bunch of other Baby Yoda Grogu, I had to look that up, Grogu's, anything with like Star Wars is fabulous. And for this to have been like, I think a clearance one is crazy. There were a bunch. There was like one where it was soft serve ice cream. There was another one that kind of read as like beige with patterns from afar, but it was just him like layered up on top of himself. I had one that's like him in pajamas, I think, or maybe the fabric's more pajama-like. I associate it with pajamas for some reason. So yeah, I get a lot of that sort of thing. I limited myself to one Grogu, okay? Because I thought to myself, which of these is the coolest and most special? And it's definitely this one, which says attack, protect, snack, which is a reference to a meme. Hello, Mau Mau. Oh yeah, I'm positioning my camera for this here because I didn't want to disturb my cat, who's sitting on this ottoman. My house is a mess, but whose isn't really? We don't judge here. We just listen. We don't judge. Okay. He protect, he attack, he snack. So I did get the rest of the bolt of this one. There was only 1 yard left, or at least I was only charged for 1 yard. It does look a little bit like a little over a yard to me, but maybe the employees were rounding down as well as favoring me with their clearance math. But anyway, so this piece ended up being $5.19. That is awesome. This is definitely gonna make me some money and or get me some cool bartered soap and like tote bags and like vanilla extract and stuff. Second of the 3 Star Warses I got was this guy. I don't have Disney Plus, never super into Star Wars, but I know the Mandalorian is like the newest, most favorite thing for everybody in the fandom, it seems like. This has Boba Fett on it specifically, and if you look close, you've got like, it's Luke, not Vader, holding Yoda and with R2. Wow, Malcolm, really? Just say you want to be on camera, okay? Oh my god. Wow, I should film all of my videos on the floor. Who would have thought I'd get to have a kitty cat join me if that was what I was doing? Okay, he's gonna sit behind me. Great. Amazing. All right, you gonna help me? You gonna let me finish? Like, I don't know what MTFBWY means. It's on here. This has got to be some sort of reference that I just don't know. Where in the hecko is Ahsoka? Yeah, here she is. She was right on the fold, but there she is as well, Ahsoka. So this one's called Mandalorian Poster, if you're looking for it locally or online. No, this one's Mando New Card Stack, I think, actually. Yeah, I don't think this was one of the ones that I finished the bolt on. Same with the other Star Wars one. So if you like these, you should totally go get them. This is 1.5 yards. Because I was restraining myself, $7.79. Not the best deal in this pile, but if you are into Disney, if you are into Star Wars, I bet it's probably the best deal. If not, my next one, which I just think looks so cool, and I don't know if it's going to be like a big seller, but I just think it looks cool, and my nephew is really into Star Wars villains and like helmets and stuff from Star Wars, so worst case scenario, he gets something cool out of it. And that is this one, Mandalorian poster, 3 yards, $4.76. $4.76 for 3 yards of this. I feel like I should be tagging Stephanie Canada here because she is my fabric and sewing crafting YouTube idol, and she made a dress out of Mando fabric, and I know that she just did like a big tearful goodbye to her local JoAnn. But if you're watching this somehow because you got linked it or it came across your dash, or I don't know, I sent it to you if I work up the courage, the Mando, just over $1 a yard is my understanding. Did I do my math right? 3 yards Mandalorian poster, $4.76 total. I could scream. There was like at least another 3 yards of this. So yeah, go check out your local JoAnn. This whole bin isn't even full. This is 3 bins, but the volume of 1 bin. Not even full. Not even full. And I do feel like I should go back and try to get those rotary cutters, but I also told myself that I was not going to go back into JoAnn until after March 1st, because March 1st is my next craft fair, and on March 1st I'm going to try selling little bits of fabric that I no longer want. So I'm going to be, hopefully between now and then, I will have time to make a fabric basket and roll up some of my more appealing yet also definitely not keeping cotton fabrics and spandexes and like measure them, price them, put them in the bin. And if you can have a sewn bin for this, like why, as a sewist, why wouldn't you? I'm trying to lean a lot more into like investing in the booth vibe. I can see that I have been talking for 35 minutes straight, which gives me plenty to work with to make a video long enough for the YouTube algorithm to like it, so thank you for bearing with me. If you're a new subscriber and new to this channel and looking for more content like this, I am, I guess, going to start trying to make more sewing and crafting things. I could totally do a series where I go over all of the different spandexes that I use for gear. I've been trying to figure out how to make videos about this part of my hobby, this side hustle, for a while now, and I just feel like if I wear the stuff I make on camera and I talk about things as I make them, maybe y'all will be interested. So if that sounds like it would be good to you, please do stick around, subscribe, and do all of the social media things if you want to. I didn't put any of this in the last video because of course I didn't. If I did, then maybe I'd have more subscribers, but thank you all so much for commenting and viewing and sharing. I have seen that you have been doing that, and I don't know if the clickbait on this video is as effective as that one. Cross your fingers for me, I guess, because this is what we really need to get the word out on. Like, for so many people, JoAnn was like the only place they could really get the stuff that they needed to express themselves and have fun, and it was like their only in-person fabric store where they could like touch the fabrics and feel their textures and like their weight and stuff. And yeah, I feel really awful for them. I am probably gonna start spending more time and money in like Bay Quilts, Stone Mountain, Daughter, Discount Fabrics in Berkeley. My favorite San Francisco independent fabric store closed in the Mission just like last year. Actually filmed some stuff while I was there, wanting to make a reel, but then I was just so overwhelmed. Well, now you can see it. That was quite an emotional experience for me. And I think that losing JoAnn would be harder if I hadn't already had to say goodbye to like the fabric store where my dad first took me to buy a sewing pattern when I was like 14. Yeah. No, that was harder than this, just personally. But yeah, I'm gonna miss JoAnn. I may be back again after March to give an update. I think probably by then other bigger YouTubers will have caught on and be delivering this message with like way more pizzazz. So if I never see you again, that's okay too. But I will have weak enough will that I will, hi Riho. I do have a weak enough will that I'm sure I will wind up back in a JoAnn. So, oh my God. Oh. What is happening? my god. Here's some LED lore for you. These two guys don't get along. We have 4 cats. This is Malcolm right here, and this is Petra. And Petra went to the vet today, so we are celebrating, I guess, by attacking our brother. Before the cats do anything else that's too amazing, that's too amazing, I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm LED, I like to sew, I like to wrestle, and I like stuff from Japan. And if any or all of that stuff is of interest to you, you should stick around. We're trying out something new on the channel, and I hope y'all are having a good day. And to any JoAnn employees watching this, just thank you so much for your service and for being so awesome for the community and everything. Like, shout out to the El Cerrito employees who have just been absolute angels. I'm gonna start brainstorming places that we can recommend former JoAnn employees to, like other local retail jobs. Like, definitely do some networking for our people, because this is gonna suck for them. All right, I've been talking way too long. I'm gonna stop. Bye. Can you tell that this is not my forte? This style of video is not my bread and butter. This one, lost my spot. This thing is too long. Where the frick? Okay, yeah, this one's the Mandalorian poster, I think. Yeah. I am not in the right state of mind to be filming right now. What the heck am I doing? I'm gonna go. Ugh.